Alright, so Tiffany is out in the sun for the first time in I don't know how long. I've got all the body panels just loosely hanging where they should be. I've got deliberately have a big gap between the panel and the body and everywhere else. What I'm going to do now is take some 800 grit with a block. You see, I've already started doing this one panel, and just get all the spatter and bugs and other junk off and get it ready for one final coat of paint, and then buffing and shining. Super important that I do this. You'll see here is a good example. See, there's a significant low spot there, something that's gone wrong. So the idea is to sand all of that out and get ready for final coat of paint. I've got a really, it's probably 6 or 7 coats of blue on here, so there's a lot of material that I can remove. I'm not in any danger of actually going through all the paint back onto the primer, or at least I don't think I am. Also have a lot of stuff like that where I've manhandled the stuff too much, so those I'm going to have to touch up with a touch-up brush. Also sand it afterwards. This is now final finishing, so I'm trying to be super careful not to re-incur any damage like that again. Alright, so I'm done with just this one quarter panel, and just look at all the blue on the paving. That's just from this one panel. I did wash it now, some clean water and a clean kitchen cloth. So I'll just wait for it to dry and then see if there's any spots that I missed. What you can see is that this panel clearly didn't have as much paint on it as I thought it did. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera, but you can see the red of the primer shining through at spots. But that's fine, it's nice and flat now. The next coat of paint will cover that up perfectly. Okay, so this panel must have been painted late at night. Completely cut through there. Just like one swipe of the sandpaper. Similar here. I've got a really, it's probably 6 or 7 coats of blue on here, so there's a lot of material that I can remove. I'm not in any danger of actually going through all the paint back onto the primer. Really thin. I also did cut in quite deeply here, but I think that was just my fault. I don't think that was a lack of paint, that was me losing concentration. But yeah, this panel definitely didn't have as many coats as the rest. But it's all good. It'll get fixed now. I'm done with the 4 quarters, now the 2 doors, and then I'm done. I really should have done the roof first, because now I've made a mess that I have to clean up again. But it came out very nice. Again, I think the roof actually had enough coats. I didn't cut through anywhere except one spot, which again I think was my own fault. I was a bit too aggressive. Right over there. Yeah, the rest looks pretty good. I'm gonna wash it all now. Oh, I made a mess. Gonna wash it all now and then pack it in for the night. It is now 6:45. Not so bad.
2 weeks later.
Alright, so still a bit clammy, but I'm going to try to use the light up there to show you guys the imperfections. Still quite a bit of orange peel in places. I think I'm going to go a bit further. There was actually like a big hair in the paint over there, which I got out, but now it's left an indentation, so I'm going to give that a bit more attention. The rest looks pretty decent, considering it's going to get another coat of paint, and then another sand, and then a polish. Some bugs and crap that was in there, that's all fine now. You can't feel it, so it's out. Yeah, getting there. I think I'll finish the hood tonight. It's only 7:15 now, and then see if I can touch up a couple of other places.
2 weeks later.
You can clearly see the ridges in the paint in a couple of places. I think it's actually the undercoat that I put on, or the rust converter that the previous guys put on actually. No, this is my stuff up that I had with the primer. Now this is what I call an epic failure. Runs everywhere. My paint was mixed way too thin. So it's like, oh, what was that? It's running down, collecting, pooling. It's just a mess. I'm actually going to take some toilet paper and just wipe the excess away so that I have less sanding to do. Look at how this is running. It is just not great. I'll link the video down below. My primer was way too thin and it flew and ran like crazy. And I used like paper towels to wipe it up. Yeah, this was one of my first pieces that I sprayed, so I still learned. So now let's see if we can knock this off. I didn't put a lot of effort into the front here because the chrome is going to cover most of this. I did put quite a bit of effort into this bottom section here. It's nice and smooth. Can't feel any of that. I suppose I can feel that, but that'll be fine. But I really focused up top here. So I mean, all of these lines where the primer shines through is where it was a very prominent ridge, which is now perfectly smooth. I am confident that when I paint this now, you won't see any of those lines, which means it'll probably show up like a sawtooth. But anyway, these ones also, the skirts came out very nice. Took off a lot more material than I wanted to, but I think it's worth it in the end. I didn't do anything on the bottom side because that's not going to be seen, and I want that paint to be as thick as possible.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
So yeah, pretty nice. But yeah, I don't know when I'm actually going to get to spraying because it needs to be a lot warmer for the paint to dry. I think I'm going to sand it a little bit more there. It's bothering me now. Anyway, I don't know when I'm going to be able to spray. It needs to be like at least 20 degrees. And it's like maybe 14, 15 now. So yeah, I don't want to risk it. Alright, so it is yet another day. It's a public holiday today, so I've got Tiffany out in the sun. You can see I've got a little pointy thing here. It's very shiny there compared to the rest, so I actually missed over there. I'm going to just make sure that I scuff everything up so that I've got a consistent surface to paint over. I also have some deep dents over there that won't come out, or yeah, that'll still show. I'm gonna have to do something about that. I'm actually looking for a product to use that I can just dab full those areas instead of like Bondo and primer and sanding and the whole thing. So I'm gonna do some research and see what I can do there. The roof's looking pretty good. I've got everything sanded off. It's fairly scuffed. I did miss this entire rear bumper. It's still shiny and full of debris over there. Tessa's helping me do the inspection. And then I've got a couple of dings as well, as I've been moving the thing around in the garage and moving stuff around it. You know, I've got a couple of dings that I'm gonna have to sort out. So that's all planned for today. It's too cold, I can't spray. Paint won't cure. So I'm at least going to try to get everything prepped and ready. I'm also definitely going to have to put more effort into the actual window frame. There's a lot of lines and like a run there at the bottom and over there that I'm going to have to get out. I know like the rubbers and stuff will cover a lot of this, but it's also going to show, especially in this panel gap over here. So I'm going to have to just make sure that I tidy that up as well. Alright, so I have gone around it, sanded everywhere where I missed. I'm happy with it. Tessa's also happy. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this very fine little brush and I'm going to touch up everywhere where there's like a deep gouge, where I bumped something into it or where something scratched deeply, like in there. Don't know if you can see. I'm going to touch all of that up, which the spray will not immediately cover. Then I'm going to wait for that to dry. There's one over there. And then I will lightly sand it to get it smooth. And then I'll do my final spray coat, which, yeah, I decided I'm going to do today. It's probably about 20 degrees Celsius. The big problem is this side of the car is ice cold. That side is warm. So I might do a rotation, you know, spray on the cold side, I think. I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I'll spray on the cool side, rotate it around, put that in the sun, and then spray the other side. First rotate it to get the warm side on the cool side, spray it, rotate it around, and then spray so that you don't put the spray on like ice cold metal. Don't know why, but that doesn't feel like a good idea. So anyway, yeah, let's make some progress today. I never record when the fun stuff happens. So I was trying to put a little wedge in between this bumper bracket mount thing and this panel so that I have a gap to spray in there. And the whole panel fell off. All scuffed up here. You won't be able to see it, but I can feel it. Deep gouge here in the paint, scuffed everywhere. I think I'm gonna have to take 600 grit and hit the whole thing again. Basically start over with a prep for the final coat. Fantastic.
A few moments later.
Just look at that. That's very nice. This is one coat, well, call it two coats, a very, very light coat and then a heavier coat, done almost directly after each other. I went a little bit over eager and I did the hood, even though half of it was in the sun at the time, so this side of the hood was quite warm. And when I sprayed it, I think I shouldn't have done that. It's going to cause the paint to dry too quickly. I'm just waiting for this side to cool down. I just turned it around. Waiting for the side to cool down, and then I'll give that its coat. At least the sun will make this dry nice and quickly. I just hope it doesn't. Spray work talks about if you have two coats and the prior coat is still too wet and you put the second coat on, then the first coat traps moisture, and that is what's causing the orange peel, because you've got two coats of paint drying at different rates. So I hope I didn't do that, because the heat might induce that. There's flipping bugs flying around. It's a perfectly wind-still day, no dust in the air, but there has to be bugs. Anyway, looking very good. I'm super happy with this. I'm starting to notice that the panels painted in the sun are way smoother than the ones in the shade. So it looks like actually it likes the heat. It looks amazing. Just to show the difference between the sun side and the shade side of the car, look at the tire temperature of this car after sitting in the open field today. Shade side a full 10 degrees cooler than the sun side. Okay, so something went horribly wrong here. I think the rag that I used to wipe this down the day that I sanded it had a residue on it. In the end, I didn't do anything on the bottom side because that's not going to be seen, and I want that paint to be as thick as possible. It was a rag. It was like not a new rag. I used it to wash cars and stuff. So the soap or something that was on it previously must have caused that. So to be safe, I wiped down the grill with a brand new rag with the paint thinners, just to make sure that any residue is off from it. Luckily this is the bottom side, and I'm actually going to coat it with stone chip eventually. So I'm not going to worry about that. I am going to, though, when I turn it around to paint the actual visible side, I'll just wipe that down with a rag as well. Funny enough, this one didn't do it. Don't know what the hell that is. Anyway, this one didn't do the same, but it might just be because it's lying flat and flowing better. So I will, when I turn this around, also be safe, use some paint finish and a clean rag and just get that one clean as well. So we have a little bit of overspray on the paving. Man, I sure hope it comes off with a pressure washer, otherwise I'm in trouble.